Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschadare Satarine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Rama Hare Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitai Gauranga Jaya, Nitai Gauranga. Nitai Gauranga Jaya, Nitai Gauranga. Jaya Jagannath Swami, Jaya Jagannath. Jaya Baladeva, Jaya Subhadra. Jagannath Swami Nayana Patagami. Nayana Patagami Bhavatu Me. Radha Vrindavan Chandra, Radha Vrindavan Chandra. Radha Vrindavan Chandra, Sri Radhe. Govinda Hari Govinda, Venkataramana Govinda. Srinivasa Govinda, Sri Venkatesa Govinda. Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada. Gurudeva, Srila Gurudeva. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. पावन हरिनाम संकीर्तन की हरे कृष्ण। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमः ओम विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद, श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Everybody is here, big crowd now. Do this. Bhavan Kirtan. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye. Nashtaprayesha Bhadresha Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Bhagavatyuttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. So, last time when I came, I was saying that I will do two type of topics here when I meet all of you here. So, one theme I will tell you from Bhagavatam. Recently, I was reading, which very much touched me. In Vrindavan, you will find the Vrajabasis are always, subjected to some wonderment or amazement by the new activities that Krishna performs. Like today we were reading when Krishna lifted the Govardhan hill. This is the only pastime I heard that where Vrajabasis directly, not Vrajabasis, one or two, all of them got to see Krishna doing a miracle in front of them. Now covered men started talking after the Leela was over. They all came together and said, "Hey, how can a 7-year-old boy, lift a hill, and that too with the left hand, that too with a tiny finger, and holding it above the head, and that too for 7 days, 7 nights, continuously. This is just not possible. Although we needed shelter, I know he lifted it like a child lifting a mushroom. Okay, he gave shelter, but how could he do that? So they started having doubts and started talking amongst themselves. So, two extreme things they were talking about. Different covered men were making different comments. Some of them were saying that, see, right from day one, we have seen this. In a few days of his birth only, the big demoness Putana, who was 12 miles long, with her two thighs like our flyover, two flyovers, and her stomach was like a lake, and her breasts were like two big mountains. And with her long teeth, and she was lying, for 12 miles long, and the tender child was lying on the top of her body unaffected. So he took away her life. So they were saying that danger after danger came for this child, but in all these dangers, this child has survived. Whether it is Putana, whether it is Shakatasur, whether it is Trinavarta, and after that in the Damodar pastime, the two trees fell. That is the time they shifted from Gokul Mahavan now to Vrindavan. That is the time they shifted. Till then, they were watching Bakasura and all those. When actually, these 3-4 incidents happened in Gokul Mahavan. And in each of this, they would see the threat, they would see the danger, and they would be very worried. The child survived all these things. And in each of these cases, he killed Putana, he killed Shakatasura, he killed Trinavarta. But the point was, they never saw it with their eyes. When Putana died, they thought that she has died due to her own sinful activities. When Shakatasura died, some ghost entered this car to try to crush our child. And Krishna just lifted the lotus feet and just touched it. And then, Krishna by his punya, he was saved. That kind of thing they were thinking. They said either Krishna was saved by his own good virtue, or because of being Nanda Baba's son, he was very fortunate, or he was blessed by Lord Narayana. Like that, they were giving different reasons. The same way, the Trinavarta pastime also. They lost him and they obtained him again, when he went up and came down. So, the only pastime which really moved them to great fear was the two trees falling. And all the children all around, nothing happened to those children. So, after that, they decided to move. There is a meeting amongst the, very, very beautiful meeting. I spoke about the meeting anytime. Did I speak? Such a beautiful meeting. You should see those verses. They are very, very important. Because you all take meetings also, no? It will be very helpful for devotees. I'll show that section. Let's repeat this. You can see. Sri Shukavavacha Gopavriddha Mahotpatan Anubhuya Brihatvane Nandadaya Samagamyam Vajakaryam Amantrayan. See, one time having seen great disturbances in Brihadvan, that is Gokul Mahavan. Brihadvan is same as that. All the elderly persons among covered men headed by Nanda Maharaj assembled and began to consider what to do to stop the continuous disturbing situations in Braja. So, in ISKCON also leaders come together to sort out problem. What to do in this ISKCON and NCC campus? Many people come for various purposes other than devotional service. People are sitting here clicking photos. And people just come at the time of prasad. They don't come for attending lectures. What to do? So devotees take anxiety. How to bring funds to run the temple, or how to manage the crowd. So taking anxiety for Krishna or Krishna's organization management is also Krishna consciousness, like the Prabhupada writes in one letter. So here they are all talking about the safety of Krishna. So Prabhupada says safety of Krishna and safety of Krishna's movement is same, because there is no difference between Krishna and his movement. So how to stop the continuous disturbing situations in Braja? Tatropanandama namaha Gopo jnana vayodikaha Deshakalartha tatvajnyaha Priyakritrama Krishnayoho. See, our Nanda Baba is not the eldest one. Our Nanda is actually third one in the family. Out of 5, he is the middle one. There are 2 elder brothers and 2 younger brothers. But Nanda's father Parjanya, he chose the middle son as the king. Can you say why? Has it ever happened? Generally, the senior most boy is supposed to become the king. Why the middle person was chosen as the king? Because as his name suggests, Nanda. Nanda means one who always delights everybody. He was such a highly qualified personality. Something similar happened in IIT Kharagpur when I used to go for preaching in 2003. And in the first batch, we found that there were about 10-12 boys were ready to shift out. All stay in the center. But the problem is there was no leader in that. Nobody was capable of running it. There was one boy whom we made as a temporary leader, but he had many other problems also. He had many other health issues and all that. Whom to make the leader? So in February, one boy came. Other boys had become devotees in July only. So July, August, September, October, November, December, January, February. Now in March, we are supposed to take the flat and then invite the boys to come and see. So February, somebody came. And then when he also came and was ready to join. And then June onwards, we started the center, 2003, I think. So who is this boy who came in February? Revatipati Prabhu. He was the boy who came last in the group, and we made him leader. And he was able to be leader. He was especially known for dealing very good with the boys and very friendly and very sensitive, good behavior. So Nanda may be small, younger in age, but everybody wanted Nanda to be the king. So his father made him the king. But Nanda is such an empowering leader. Hear what he said. Right now, let all the cowherdmen come to meet to discuss about the disturbances in Vraja. For that, what he did, Tatra Upananda Nama Aha. Nanda Baba suggested whose name? Upananda, he said. And what is the reason why he chose him? Gopo Jnana Vayo Adikaha. Is Jnana Vriddha and Vayo Vriddha also. In knowledge also he is very advanced. Wisdom, mature, ripe wisdom. And Vayodika means in age also. Experience. With age comes experience. And if one has wisdom as well as experience, they are very special. And then Desha Kalartha Tatpajnaha. He exactly knows how to apply the principles according to time, place, circumstance. He will not just randomly. Some people say the right thing at the wrong time, Like, somebody came and said, his daughter got 93% in 10th standard or something like that. So one devotee said, oh, she got 93. Morning only somebody told me they got 98. 98% in 10th standard. So immediately this family, their face became very small. Why? Because that person told the right thing at the wrong time. Correct, no? We should not speak the right thing at the wrong time. Actually, he didn't say lie. Somebody actually came to him and said, my son has got 98 and that daughter had got 93. So even though he knows it, you should not say it. Because every parent wants everybody else to think that my child is the topmost child. Correct. 93 is also not an ordinary thing. Correct. Wow, 93? My Lord, amazing. We want somebody to be excited, isn't it? If you can't be excited, at least don't say such things. Like, be excited. If you can't be excited, at least don't, make them disheartened, isn't it? So therefore, who can avoid saying the right thing at the wrong time? For that one who knows, according to Desha Kala Patra, only one should speak. Example, when Vidura came to meet Dhritarashtra to preach to him, in 13th chapter you will find first canto, 13th chapter. So 4th or 5th verse you will read in the chapter. Nanva priyam durvishaham, he says. Vidura looked at Yudhishthira Maharaj and Pandavas. He thought, my Lord, if I tell these fellows about Maushalya Leela, about Yadu's passing away and Krishna returning back to Godhead, Yudhishthira and Pandavas will fall flat on the ground and roll on the ground and weep and cry. And day in and day out they will be like that, and my trip here will be spoiled. I come here to deliver my brother. Correct, no? That program will be foiled. And also, why should I give the bad news to these fellows? Bad news will anyway come to be known eventually. So he knew it, but he kept it in the throat. Just like Shiva keeps the halachal here. He doesn't send it inside or doesn't spit out. If you spit out, others will be affected. If you take in, then you will be finished. So he kept it here, Nilakanta. So Vidura was also very disheartened, pained by Krishna's going back to Godhead. But he tolerated that pain and did not. See, if you are feeling some pain, how many of you feel you will want to share it with others, honestly? Correct, no? But why he didn't share? Not wanting to increase their pain. That is maturity. According to Desh Kalpatra, he did not speak anything. So I told you two examples. One bad example and good example, correct, no? According to Desh Kalpatra. So Desha Kalartha Tattvajna. Desha Kalartha Tattvajna. Is a knower of the truth according to time, place, circumstance. And then Priyakrit Ramakrishna. This is the most important qualification. The person who leads the meeting should be a lover of Krishna. Or in other words, you can say, if anybody is leading a meeting, they should be lover of ISKCON and Prabhupada. What will please Prabhupada? Prabhupada said, if you want to show your love for me, cooperate with one another for keeping the movement together. He said, no. So Prabhupada said, if you put sticks together in a bundle, you cannot break it. But individually you remove it, it can be easily broken. Correct, no? So he said, despite all differences, devotees have to stay united. It's called unity in diversity. So Prabhupada wanted so unity in diversity, if you have to learn, I'll just show you one picture, you'll be amazed. See, the car has 2000 parts. Can you imagine? And all the parts play their part and keep quiet. So they are cooperatively working together. Amazing, no? So it's only each of us, we have our part. Like, switcher masters may be like engine or something like that, correct, no? There are other smaller parts also, correct, no?
The car has 2000 watts and the other one the horn to make noise.
Yeah. Correct. So, see how they all work together. Actually, they are able to work together because they are dead parts. But we are living parts. That's the problem. We are living part and parcels. So, because dead parts don't have opinions, correct, no? Therefore, living parts and parcels to work together. So, therefore, I am giving you another example. Living part and parcels. What is this one? Music orchestra. The director is saying like this, now you play. So you play violin, now you play drums, you play this. Only those who are told to play should play. Not that somebody suddenly makes a sound to just catch the attention, correct, now? So Prabhupada wanted this type of unity and diversity.
Only they are living, but they are paid.
Yeah. So now we will talk about voluntary cooperative workers. Where is it? That is Pune congregation, correct? So, anyway, Prabhupada unity in diversity means just like you see these flowers. Different flowers are of different color, different smell. Yeah. So, for example, every flower you will see, depending on who we are going to talk about the guna and dosha of flowers, correct, now? If you talk about the jasmine, What is the guna of jasmine? Fragrance. What is the dosh? Not a very beautiful flower, very small it is. Right now. And what is the glory of Jarbara? Beautiful, colorful, like that smiling flower it is. What is the dosh? Yeah, no fragrance. What is the speciality of lotus? Of course, it's soft. It is honey. Lotus is honey. And it carries a lot of big quantity of honey. So, when you talk about the flowers, we should talk only the good side of flowers. Don't say jasmine is small. Just say jasmine is fragrant. And just say Jarbara is beautiful. And we have to keep quiet. Don't say the other side. Then unity is possible. Unity is possible only when you see the bright side of everyone and take that and not expect the other side. Then it's possible. So therefore, actually, if the goal is to please Krishna, then one can put aside one's false ego. So, Priyakrit Rama Krishna Yoho. If somebody is determined to please Rama and Krishna, Balarama and Krishna, one is a lover of Krishna, then that's what Prabhupada said. If you want to show your love for me, because love means you have patience, you have tolerance, you have sacrifice, you have putting aside false ego, and your willingness to bend, your willingness to be even humiliated, and all things may be there. Still, you will go on, provided you love. Where there is love, all these things are possible. Correct? No? That's why they should be lovers of Krishna. That is so these are conditions. Who can lead the team? That means they should be jnanadikaha, vayodikaha, deshakalartha, tattvajnaha, and priyakrit Ramakrishnayo. There is Uttatavyam itosmabhir gokulasya hitaishibhi ayantyatra mahotpata balanam nashahetavah. So here, Nanda Upananda is telling that, oh my dear friends, my dear friends, the covered men, in order to do so, in order to do good to this place, Gokula, we should leave it, he says. Because so many disturbances are always occurring here, just for the purpose of killing Rama. And then he's going to tell one by one. First he's telling about Putana, which I told you, correct, no? Yeah. And then later on, handcart missed and failed upon the child. They thought it is, handcart somehow slipped and fell. They thought like that. They didn't know. And then Chakravata, and what is the Chakravat? Trinavarta. Yeah. He took the child away into the dangerous sky to kill him. But the demon fell down on a slab of stone. In that case, also by the mercy of Lord Vishnu and associate, child was saved. Yeah. And then they are talking about Yannamriyeta Drumayor Antaram Prapya Balakaha Asavanyatamo Vapi Tadapyachyata Rakshanam. The two trees. Drumayoho means two trees. Yannamriyeta. Although two trees fell, still Krishna didn't die and other children didn't die. Antaram Prapya Balakaha. We obtained the child safely. Like that he is saying about that. Yeah. And then he is saying here, all these incidents are being caused by some unknown demon before he comes here to create another disturbance. It's our duty to go somewhere else with the boys until there are no more disturbances, like what he is saying. See here, one interesting point he says here, if you see in the purport now. See, Prabhupada is always very beautiful in giving purport, relevant to. Beginning from here, you can see this. A devotee desires only that he may execute devotion service undisturbed. Correct? How many of you would like to do devotion service undisturbed? Therefore, we want to go back to Godhead, correct? No? There is no disturbance of old age or disease or death or anything like that. And no trouble by anybody. The living entities don't give trouble there. Anybody knows why they don't give trouble? Recently, I was trying to understand that. Then I understood that just as Krishna's body is Chinmaya, living entity's body is also Chinmaya. So because all the living entities are same in nature, they are pure. But when they come to this world, they get a covering, of mind. And the mind is a carrier of impurities. That's how the problem comes. Just like you heard this example I told before. Like imagine if somebody comes with the stinking socks. Nasty smell comes, correct? Now you think the fellow is stinking. He is not stinking. What is stinking? Socks is stinking. He goes, releases the socks, and then he washes his feet and comes in. Nobody will have any problem. Similarly, every jiva in this world is carrying the stinking socks of his mind. With a lot of, so therefore they are hurting each other in this world. So we want an undisturbed situation. Actually, we see, however, and one good news also. Stinking sock can be washed also. So mind can also be purified by chanting. Correct, no? So it will not give out any more smell after that. So actually we see, however, that even during presence of Krishna, when Nanda Maharaj and other covered men had the Supreme Personality of Godhead in their presence, there were disturbances. Of course, see, Bhaktivinoda Thakur has written a book called as Bhakti Aloka. In that book he says, Lord Chaitanya says, Moraman, Vrindavan. Or his mind is like Vrindavan, he says. And he says there, not only Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mind is Vrindavan, even our mind is also Vrindavan only. But in Vrindavan, 21 demons came to Vrindavan. Similarly, in our mind also, these demons come and go. They come and we have to defeat them by strengthening our Krishna component in our heart. When Krishna becomes stronger, these demons can be killed or subdued, like that. So, once all the anarthas are removed from our heart, all the demons are killed. Then Vrindavan will be placed with no disturbance. So, actually we see, however, that even, of course, in every case, Krishna came out victorious. The instruction we may derive from this is that we should not be disturbed by so-called disturbances. Prabhupada giving conclusion. We should not be disturbed by so-called disturbances. There have been so many disturbances to our Krishna conscious movement, but we cannot give up our forward march. On the contrary, people are receiving this movement very enthusiastically all over the world, and they are purchasing literature about Krishna consciousness with redoubled energy. Thus, there are both encouragements and disturbances. This was so even in Krishna's time. So we have a combination of both. That little encouragement we get, that's what is keeping us going. So, when going gets tough, the tough get going. How are you able to go? Because Krishna gives time some encouragement. So, and then he say, Vanam Vrindavanam Nama Pashavyam Navakananam Gopa Gopi Gavam Sevyam Punyadri Trinavirudham. Now he is describing a new place away from Gokul Mahavan. He is saying, there is one forest I know, which is called as Vrindavanam. The name is Vrindavanam. Pashavyam Navakananam. There are very nice forests available there for our cows. And our Gopa Gopis and cows, for all of them, they will all be delighting in that place. Because there is a Yamuna, there is Punyadri there. Which is the Punyadri? Giriraj. Giri Govardhan. So, there are many mountains there, auspicious mountains, and grasses for the cows, and grasses, and Virudha means creepers. Grasses, creepers, and nice mountain. For everybody, Gopa Gopi, everybody will be very happy if they go there. He's saying, lush with grass, plants and creepers. It has nice gardens and tall mountains and is full of facilities for happiness of all Gopas and Gopis, like that he is saying. And that one is between Nandeshwar and Mahavan, Gokul Mahavan, correct, no? So, and then he is saying, here is the most important point coming here. Okay, I'll show in English, I'll show you, okay? You can read it. Tat tatra adyaiva means today only he is saying. Tat tatra adyaiva yasyamaha shakanan yungtamachiram Godhanan jagrato yantu bhavatam yadi rochate. See, tat tatra, that place which I am telling you, Vrindavan, adyaiva yasyama, today only we should move, he is saying. We should pack everything in bullock carts, Shakatan, pack everything, put everything in the cart. Today we should vacate this place and we should go there. See, all of us, when we have an opinion, we strongly feel that that opinion should be immediately implemented without any discussion or question. Correct, no? And who feels like that? Everybody feels. Everybody feels that. Imagine if 10 people are sitting in a meeting, every fellow is convinced about his opinion. And so we may also say like this, Tat Tatradhyaiva. Adhya means today only. Yasyahama, we will go there. Shakatan Yungta Machiram. Machiram, don't delay Prabhus. Prabhus, Mataji's, Gopis, Gopas, everybody get ready. Shakatan. He's saying, arrange the carts, put everything in the cart today only. Godani Agrato Yantu, keeping the cows and bulls and the animals in the front. We will go. But what he says, Bhavatam Yadirochate. If it is pleasing to you. Either he says. So, as soon as you bring this politeness, here is my opinion, but I am detached. I have expressed what I wanted to say. But Bhavatam Yadirochate. If this idea is pleasing to all of you, then today only we will move from this place, like that he is saying. So this mood is very important for every member of the team. Bhavatam Yadirochate mood. If it is pleasing to you, like that he says. See, he says, therefore let us immediately go today. There is no need to wait any further. If you agree to my proposal, let us prepare all the bullock carts and put the cows in front of us and let's go there, like that he is saying. What other fellows said, the members of the team, you want to see? They said, Tat Shutvaika Dhiyo Gopaha Sadhu iti vadinaha Rajan Swan Samayujya Yayuruda Parichadaha. So, Tat Shutva, as soon as the covered men heard it, Ekadiyo Gopaha means unanimous decision they made. And what they said? Sadhu, Savash, well done. Such a wonderful idea you have given us. Everybody said like that. And Vraja and Swan, Samayujya. And all of them taking their cows, bulls and everything. And then the bullock carts and everything. So you will find, of course, this is a very beautiful pastime of, the gopis were all sitting in the bullock carts, covered in the top also, along with their children. And old men, children, women, they were all kept in the middle in the carts. In the front and behind, there were men with bows and arrows in the hand. And they were going ahead like this. So Prabhupada says how protective was the Vedic culture. The women and children and old people were very much cared for, protected. So they were safe from any robbers or something. So in this way, this is a very beautiful meeting of everybody appreciated Upananda. Upon hearing this advice from Upananda, the covered men unanimously agreed. Very nice, they said. As they sorted out their household affairs, placed their clothing, other paraphernalia in the carts and immediately started for Vrindavan. So you get many clues from this on how to conduct a meeting, right now. So many tips you learn from this section. So, when covered men were, after wonderful Krishna lifted the Govardhan hill, that is the only time with a Jagrati state, wide open eyes, they saw Krishna lifting the Govardhan hill. Because all other things are all suspicious things, correct? No? See, when 2 trees fell, did anybody clearly know what happened? They asked the children, hey, bache, kya hua? And all the bache, what they said? We saw Krishna went between the 2 trees and the vocal got stuck and the 2 trees broke. And then some gopis said, hey, why are you asking the children? Are they the right people to ask? Bachon ko kya malum? Unko puch rahe ho. So that means nobody clearly knew what happened there. How the 2 trees broke, they thought some ghost came and knocked down. That's what they thought. And each of those pastimes. Like Trinavar, took him up and brought down. Does anybody know Trinavar? They only saw the fellow falling down, all his bones broken. And Nandababa made one comment. He said, this fellow must be a great papi because he is destroyed. Whereas our Krishna doesn't have even a single scratch in the body. That means he must be a great punyatma. Like that he glorified. That's all he said. And they didn't know who is Trinavarta, how he picked up nothing. Shakadacharto, he is hidden like a hawa, like a air. They didn't know it. So you will see that in all those pastimes, it was somewhat like, they were suspicious, they were not very clear. Sometimes they said, maybe Krishna is after this 2 trees falling down, covered men had a meeting. There they said, maybe Krishna is a demigod. That too, maybe only. Not very sure also. Maybe he's a demigod. He's very powerful. I thought they were discussing. But then this is all one discussion that happened after they saw Krishna lifting the Govardhan hill. They said, now we have seen with our eyes, how can this boy do this? The another part they discussed was how, Krishna cries and he's afraid of the lightning. He comes running to Mother Yashoda and embraces her feet. And he steals butter from our homes. And he plays with covered boys. He goes for herding cows and calves. So, how can, if you think he is God, how can God be doing all these things? It's just not possible. He's one amongst us. Why are you just cooking up a story that he is God? So, he is one of us. He's a very intimate and very dear member of our community. You're thinking like that. So, they were caught between the two. The second one is spontaneous affection. And the first one is reverential admiration. And bringing these two things is the Govardhan Lila. Where you find, because Govardhan Lila is the first time covered men are watching Krishna lifting Govardhan hill, performing that miracle in front of their eyes. Generally, Krishna will never do that. He will never perform anything Aishwarya in Vrindavan. And even when he expanded himself in the Aghasura's mouth also, that time all covered boys were dead, therefore he expanded. Otherwise, you show a pastime, you will not find that. He will not show such. Actually, he will maintain the size of his body, the same size. He will not use weapons also in Vrindavan. You will see that. Like, with his small lotus feet, he killed Shakatasura. With his catching with the neck, whom he caught with the neck? Trinavarta. He squeezed his neck. Trinavarta thought the child is afraid of the height, he was thinking. Trinavarta thought the child is, I've taken child too high. Maybe he's afraid he's holding on to my neck, he thought. But he didn't, little did he know, he's squeezing his neck. Very soon he finished him, isn't it? So, what is going on in Krishna's mind? How can Jasara know? Krishna wanted to go up and take an aerial view, seeing all the Vrajabasis doing services in Vrindavan all at once, like a Vihangavalok. Although he enjoyed and delighted in that, suddenly he became anxious thinking of Mother Yashoda. Therefore he wanted to come down, but this fellow was going on taking up. Then he caught hold of his neck and crushed him and brought him down on a slab. So, now what I was telling was that in all these pastimes, you will find Krishna's size remains the same and he doesn't use any weapons. Putana, how he killed? With 2 lips. Have you ever seen anybody killing somebody with 2 lips? Krishna killed. Maybe somebody may say Vishakanya. Vishakanya may kill. But Vishakanya can kill a person but not liberate a person. Krishna killed Putana and liberated her also, isn't it? So, Hatha Ari Gati Dayaka. So, Putana with lips, Shakatasura with lotus feet, and Trinavarta by squeezing with the hand, isn't it? So, like that he killed all these demons. And also, he delivered Nalakpur Manigriv by pulling the shakat. That was completely, totally a childlike activity only. So, yeah. So, in all these activities, but this is the first time they are seeing Krishna lifting the Govardhan hill. And they are like shocked. They stand there. How this 7-year-old boy is lifting? At that time, Nanda Maharaj says, let me tell the truth, my dear friends, to all of you. When I celebrated the Krishna's first birthday, they are looking on, hey, first birthday, humko bola nahi? Humko bulaya nahi? Then they were arguing with Nanda Maharaj that how did you celebrate without inviting all of us? Nanda Maharaj said, my lord, I should not have told these guys. Isn't it? So, when he told them about that one, he told Gargacharya came, and then Gargacharya told Narayana Samagunahi. This boy will behave like Narayana. He will have the powers like Narayana, qualities like Narayana. And he will protect all of you. Therefore, you all take care that he is protected by you, he said. So, everybody was wondering. He is saying, he will protect all of you, and then you also should protect him, he said. Why, he said? Anybody knows? Because he didn't want to disturb their spontaneous love for Krishna. So he concluded with their spontaneous love. You think you are protecting him, but actually he is only protecting you. That's the indirect meaning of that. So after hearing that, all covered men became convinced. But in Vrindavan, there is only spontaneity. Nothing can enter into Vrindavan. No Aishwarya can enter. Even if Aishwarya enters for a short while, it just stays for a short while and then it's finished. So when we read Bhagavatam, 10th canto, a lot of gem-like sections you get like this. Let us take some discussion. Anybody wish to say something? Anybody? Any of you? Yes. That mic ready, yeah. Mic is working? Yes.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Was a very enlightening discussion, very relevant, especially about the meetings. And what's the mood, who is qualified.
Many of you
what to
sitting here take
discuss.
meetings, several meetings, yeah.
Regarding one point, what you mentioned, even Mukunda Prabhu was making that good point that the degree of toughness increases, from dead matters or dead objects to the living beings,
Yeah.
from the paid living beings to the voluntary members.
Yeah.
So when we are dealing, I remember one important point you mentioned, which was, see the good and don't focus on the bad. And then everything will go on well. It's a very important guideline. Although difficult to follow, but can certainly be done at least externally. And at times what can happen is when we are doing in that, trying to do, we're not expert, but trying to do in that mode, we see a few others either consciously or unconsciously not doing that. Like they can also see a good, but we see, and because we are also conditioned, we may get impacted and then get kind of demotivated while being in this voluntary organization. And they can't be blamed because they may like this person did unconsciously, the bad example that you gave. So not necessarily he's intentionally wrong, but at times can happen. So how do we deal for ourselves in situations like this and not get demotivated even if we see somebody?
Yeah. One thing is, everything we speak creates vibrations. Like, for example, if you send somebody to a garden, he comes back and says, oh, the garden is full of thorny bushes. Another person says the garden is full of fragrant roses. Which one is true? Which one is true? Both are true. Because the fragrant roses come only in thorny bushes. So the choice of which one to see depends on the paradigm of the individual. And where did that paradigm they get? It's due to many factors, like 5-6 factors we have. Upbringing by parents, upbringing by teachers, and the friends circle, books they read, the movies they watch, and the friendships they keep, music they hear, all those things. So it molds the personality over a period of time. So some people, therefore we find Mahattara, Mahattama, Ati Mahattama. And then we have Asadu, then there are higher degrees of Asadu also. Atya Sadhu, as it says. So now at least we should try to come to the platform of Mahat. Mahat means what? He points out mistake, but not with the intention to push down a person. He points out mistake with the desire to rectify the flaw. He will tell him, see Prabhu, you have this problem, but you are a wonderful devotee. If you do this one solution I am giving you, things will get better for you. And I want to see you flourish. That is Mahat. And Mahattara means, he doesn't see bad, he only sees the good. And he appreciates the good. And Mahattama means, he takes a small good and he exaggerates. He makes it very big. Just like parents do with their own children, you can see that. Like if a child takes a chalk piece and puts an Archimedean spiral, parents will say, mother will say, oh, my son has written Om. Oh, see, he has written Om. I was wondering, you only can see Om, I can't see. Now only mother can see. You just put a circle like this. Huh? Yeah, jalebi. Similarly, one mother brought her child first time to temple. Baba, he is saying, Prabhu, I took him to Prabhupada and said, Prabhupada, he says. So, actually, that is how Mahattama means like that. Mahattama means, he takes a small thing, small good and he magnifies it. Atimatama is even more superlative. Even if there is none, still he finds good in a person. Like Atimatama, what he will say? Yesterday night when I was sleeping, I had 20,000 rupees in my pocket. This thief brought a shining knife and he took the money, he cut my pocket and took money. Such a good thief, he didn't kill me. I say, what a good fellow. Atimatama is like that. He's like that. Amazing, isn't it? That is the way he thinks like that. Even where there is none, he thinks there is some good quality like Atimatama. So, in the same manner, asadu, asadutara, asadutama, atyasadutama. 4 categories if you see. Yeah. Asadu means what? He will only point out bad without giving any solution. He will say, no, this is bad, this is bad, this is bad. Again and again, he will tell from various angles, he will tell it is bad. So what happens? The vibrations, then the vibrations spread around. Correct, no? That is asad. Now, asadu tara means, what he does, he will take a small fault, but he will exaggerate it. You have seen people, when they will come and say, no. So he will say, Prabhuji, he came to beat me up, Prabhuji. Somebody comes and says. Then you ask, hey, you went to beat this dude? No, Prabhuji, I didn't do that. Then he will say, no, he didn't beat me, Prabhuji. He raised his hand. He will say. And then later on, you will come to know that he raised his hand to show somebody, not for beating him. He will exaggerate. When I was in Kunjavari temple, in those days, there was one very wonderful devotee lady. What's her name? Madan Mohini Mataji. She has done a lot of service for Maharaj and everything. Somebody came and said, Prabhu, she raised her hand. I said, Mata, I raised a hand to show him something, not to beat him. Then I understood. See, raising hand like this is different from showing this. Correct now? Both are looking like this one. Correct now? Both are raising hand. Sometimes people, how many of you have seen people exaggerating to you when they come and tell you? And what is the reason for the exaggerating? To draw your attention and make you convinced that that person is a bad person. So children do that a lot, correct now? Children, you can see that. They will, as if, the whole universe has fallen down, Yeah, they make a big hue and cry. Sometimes my father also used to get excited when I would complain. The purpose of parents getting excited is to convince the child, I am convinced about your complaint. You have to do drama. Otherwise they will exaggerate too much. Correct, na? Yeah. So that is asadu tara. Asadu tama means what? If you tell him, hey, look at this boy, just last week he came to Krishna consciousness and he's coming in temple hall, how he dances in Guru Puja, I will say. अरे क्या डांस करता है अभी कितने समय डांसिंग करेगा देखते हैं either he will say ये तो नया नया मुल्ला जोर से चलाता है like that he will not believe that somebody can be enthusiastic for all life he will be very sarcastic Atyasadutama is the most dangerous where a person has no fault he will find fault like Ramchandra Khan found fault in Haridas Thakur or in Shivas Thakur that Gopal Chapal found fault. That's Atyasadutama, very bad. Actually, we know these things. Why? Because by knowing these things, we can always alert ourselves. At least we should try to be Mahat. At least. Mahat means, yes, you have a tendency to find fault, you find fault, but help also. Help people rectify that fault. Like Prabhupada found fault with hippies. He said, look at this fellow, they are drinking, they are smoking, they are into drugs, they are degraded people, all living like two-colored animals, like cats and dogs. But he went and lived in the middle of them, in the Bowery. And, he preached to them and delivered so many of them, 10,000 of them, you can imagine. So, then Prabhupada is not just like a Kanishtadhikari, critic. He's like acted like a Madhyamadhikari. He found fault, but he also gave them solution. Correct, no? Yeah. Does it make sense? Yeah.
So can you say these 8 names again?
Yeah, Mahattara, Mahattama, Ati Mahattama. And then Asadutara, Asadutama, Atyasadutama. So, in one of the slates, I had gathered this and put it all together.
Once you told it.
Where it is. Yes, correct. Yeah.
Prabhupada must be the highest level, right? Like sometimes we say he came to the Madhyamadhikari.
Prabhupada himself says, a pure devotee comes to Madhyamadhikari level to preach. But Uttamadhikari coming to Madhyamadhikari is not same as the Kanishta going to Madhyamadhikari. If a Kanishta goes to Madhyamadikari, there's a difference between the two explained nicely in the book Vaishnava Compassion. That book he explains. Like Madhyamadikari is like apprentice. He has just now come here. And Uttamadikari coming down is like a PhD teacher teaching ABCD. Imagine if a PhD teacher is coming and teaching LKG children ABCD. That doesn't mean PhD teacher is that level. Correct, no? Yeah. Anybody else wishes to say anything? Any of you? Yes.
Cooperation of the devotees.
Yeah.
Does the cooperation depend on the varna of the devotees? Because many times, if there are too many intellectuals, there is always Tarko Pratishtha, Naso Munir Yasya Matam Na Vinnam. But then otherwise also we say that, the Shudra means we will always keep cribbing and fighting.
Yeah.
So these are like two extremes of Varna. So the Brahmanas also will keep discussing and fighting, and Shudra also will keep discussing and fighting. So,
but you will see, once a person takes to Krishna consciousness, he becomes a devotee. Like you see, Gopi Padmanabh Prabhu is a big Sanskrit scholar, but what a humble devotee he was. Anybody in ISKCON, you ask about Gopi Padmanabh Prabhu, all of them will say the same thing. The world has not seen a humble person like him. Most humble, most well-behaved. All Prabhupada disciples will unanimously agree. But he's a Sanskrit scholar. He is the biggest scholar. He is one of the translators of 11th and 12th canto. He is also in the team. He and Dravida Prabhu and Hridayanda Maharaj, they all did that jointly. And he wrote the Brihad Bhagavatamrita book and all that. So, that means, just because somebody is a Brahmana doesn't mean he will always be, intellectuals will be, independent minded. It's not necessary. One becomes a Vaishnava, then one can cooperate even if he is like a Brahmana also. Even if he is like a Kshatriya also. Right? One can, like 5 Pandavas are Kshatriyas. Kshatriyas are generally individual players, but they could work cooperatively also. Because of Krishna was the binding factor for all of them. In my understanding, nobody in this world can be labeled as a person due to his varna or ashrama background. He may not be able to cooperate. The cooperation, main principle behind cooperation is, for whom are we trying to please? If I am trying to, one example I'll tell you. Two people had to go to one project to, run some youth project. So both of them were classmates in their school days. Then they became classmates in college days. They passed out. They joined ISKCON at the same time. Now, in this temple, the president called them and said, you be the manager of the center. And he told the other devotee that you go and cook nicely, and cook and clean and do maintenance of the center. And he can actually be the manager and preacher. So the devotee is supposed to be assistant. He got very wild. Prabhu, we studied in the school together, college together, and now how can you expect me to become his assistant? He said. And Prabhu said, no, see, your talents are, you can cook well, you can play harmonium, you can sing well, you can do maintenance well. You are expert at it. Already you are doing in temple. Same thing you do there in the center. And your other friend, he is a very good leader and manager. Already he is making a lot of devotees. So let him pay attention to devotee making. He doesn't have to worry about the other things. If you guys cooperate together and work, then something new center will come up. So now that junior devotee was saying, Prabhuji, you send me with anybody, I will go except this guy. He's saying, I cannot see him as my boss. And President told him, okay, don't see him as a boss, see him as your friend. But you do your work, he will do his work, both of you complement each other, don't compete with each other. Still he didn't agree. He said, better I stay in the temple and do these things, I will not go. So that project couldn't take off. They wanted to send these 2 people. So here, these 2 people would have cooperated. When, you tell me? Because if they had a very great love for that leader. Okay, for the leader's sake, what I will do? I am ready to cooperate. Because leader says it will come out well, he has confidence. So I am ready to play this role. Sometimes our equals can also become our senior in some team, like even all of, like you are leading Gundicha Mandir Marja. Shankar Prabhu will also come and clean, he won't mind. Correct, Shankar Prabhu? But you only lead always, no? Yeah. Isn't it? So in kitchen, Shankar Pandit will lead and you have to cooperate there. Correct, no? But such situations can happen or not? What do you think? in this world. One time I was distributing books in the station. So 2 policemen, they were pushing and all that. They pushed me, and after that I was wondering, because if I go to any platform, they catch me. Then one of them told me that, one fellow told me that if you go to RDM office, they give permission, you can distribute in the train anywhere you want and all that. So I went to the RDM office. There were 250 people are there in that office, big office, people are working. Then people said, if you go to the topmost man, so then the work will be done. So I went up to the topmost floor. There, one young boy was sitting, he was just 32 years old. As soon as I went, he immediately got up and came and offered a big obeisances. I was like, who are you? Prabhuji, don't you recognize me? I am from Bharatiya Vidyapith. He said, I have become collector now. I am IAS. UPSC, he wrote and he cracked the UPSC. And sitting. So he was telling a story. He said that in his office when he joined, he was reporting to one little middle-aged man, like somebody who was 45, 50 years old man he was reporting to. At the time, it was very difficult for him because that fellow was creating a lot of headache for him. But after his IAS results came, he cracked it, and then they placed in the same office, they made him number 1 now. Now all the 2 people are below him. Earlier he was here. From here he came here. Now his boss also is reporting to him now. You can imagine. So when I heard that story, immediately I remembered Jadabharata's statement to Ravana. Hey, now you are a king, I am your servant. Next life I may be king and you will be. And he said, the only person who is a constant leader is Lord Vasudeva. His position never changes. Yes, Vasudeva para Veda, Vasudeva para Makaha, Vasudeva para Yoga, Vasudeva para Kriyaha, Vasudeva param Jnanam, Vasudeva param Tapaha, Vasudeva paro Dharmo, Vasudeva paragati. All the 8 things he is saying. This Vasudeva position will never change. He is an unchanging leader. You are a changing leader. Like that. That really shook him up, our Rahugana. He understood this. Sometimes you are a king, sometimes you are praja, sometimes you are rich, sometimes you are poor. So, therefore, if one of my equals has become a senior, say our Shamru Prabhu, he was leading at one time a festival management head, and he is calling all the councillors and making a meeting. Please let us all, make a plan for Janmashtami. So, this is called as a situational leader, we call it. Situational leader means a particular department one does very well. Then he becomes a leader in that. Just like tortoise, he is a leader in water. And rabbit is leader on land, like that. Similarly, but the world is like that, positions may change. We all ultimately, cooperation is possible when we love the superior for whom we are working. Then cooperation is possible. Otherwise, when it comes to spiritual master, many people are willing to bend because they can see that spiritual master is representative of Krishna. In Kunjabari temple, one day I was chanting japa. The HOD of deity department came to me and said, Radheshyam Prabhu, please, can you tell the devotee to dress Radha Kunjabari? I said, why didn't your head, why didn't you tell? I told you, he is not listening, he was telling. Then I went to that fellow and said, Prabhuji, can you dress? No, Prabhuji, why this person always tells me last minute? Yesterday night he should have told me. I would have gotten up early in the morning and chanted by rounds. Then I can dress. But now in chanting time, if you go for dressing, then daytime chanting is very difficult. Tell him to tell somebody else, Prabhuji, like that he was telling me. I was wondering what to do. Then I asked the HOD, why are you telling him last minute? Why you didn't tell us today? He said, no, Prabhu. The person supposed to dress the deities today, he got fever in the morning only. Abhi uska fever chalu hua, Abhi. He's feeling very feverish, he's unable to come for the service. Then I went back and told this fellow, his fever started now. If yesterday night started, we would have told you yesterday. I told him. Still, of course, in those days, I was very young also, no? Now if I tell, it's much different now, after so many years. Now people fear as if I'm like a fatherly role nowadays. Now, before even I complete, they will jump up and run. They will do it now. But in those days, I was also young. He was giving me reasoning also. Oh, no, probably like this. Then I asked him one thing. See, try to understand what I am saying. See, if Radha Kunja Bihari is coming in your dream and saying, please, tomorrow morning, you dress us. If they say, if they are inviting you to dress, will you dress or not? Prabhuji, I will dress them every day, Prabhuji. Every day also I will dress them. I said, now also they only have called you. I said, is it really? Bhauji, they told you? He asked me. See, you know. Then I told, see, they have inspired the head pujari that today we want to be dressed by this particular devotee.
Person to self. Fever.
Yes, correct. The Lord put that one fellow to fever so that they wanted to be dressed by whom? By you. And he is inspiring the HOD to come to you. Because now the opportunity is coming and tapping your door. And imagine Radha Kunjbari is tapping the door and saying, please dress us. You say, sorry, I cannot do it. Will you say like that? Chanting the name. Chanting whose name? Their name. Good joke, isn't it? I will chant your name, but I will not serve you. Good joke, isn't it? So when I told this, immediately there were tears in his eyes. He said, immediately jumped up, he went. So later on, I told the HOD, see, now he could see the connection. Earlier, he could not see the connection. So all of us will be able to bend only when we see connection. So when he saw the connection, he said, oh, Lord is only... Actually, it's a fact. You will see that Lord inspires devotees in the heart as super soul, correct, no? He inspires ultimately. Like when does the pujari open the door? When Lord inspires him to open the door and give me a darshan to all the bhaktas. Lord wants to, that's the time he opens the altar. So in this way, when we see the connection, then we will be willing to cooperate. Cooperate for what? For pleasing that person, pleasing spiritual master. Then one can cooperate. But even after we know the matter and we are still not cooperating, that means our love for Guru is very sentimental. It is very superficial. It is not very, it's not very deep. Deep love means following instruction. Prabhupada says, if you love God or if you love Jesus, then why are you eating meat? He says, thou shalt not eat meat. Then why do you eat? Love means, follow the obedience. Love means obedience, Prabhupada says. There is no obedience. You can't say, no, my mind is not cooperating. No, mind, body, whatever it is, you have to cooperate. That ability to obey comes by love. Love is the ultimate thing. Yeah. That's what Prabhupada said. If you want to show your love for me, love one another. He didn't say that. What he said? Yeah, I know that you guys cannot love very easily. At least cooperate. At least cooperate. Yeah. Despite, in Chaupari temple, Maharaj was telling once morning, two brahmacharis were offering obeisances to each other. The lockers were next to each other. But Maharaj got news from the senior devotee that these two guys have a little cold war going on. They had some tussle. When Maharaj was passing by, they were offering respect to Maharaj also, and to each other also, one chocolate. Later on, Maharaj has a very good sense of humor, you all know, correct, no? And then Maharaj patted both of them and said, what were you saying? Maharaj was saying, one chocolate was saying, oh, one chocolate, I thought you said I want to punch you on the nose. Your vancha appeared like a punch for me. And they both are amazed how Maharaj knows we have a fight. That Maharaj heard from somebody. After that, they became friends again. After that, for the pleasure of Maharaj, they became friends again. After that, correct now. Now we have to conclude. I have a 3:15 lecture in the morning tomorrow. US, and yeah.
Prabhu's father is not in good health.
Is it?
Shifting him to ICU.
Is it?
What am I studying?
Recently,
Just now.
Today,
Abhi.
Oh.
He's there in Bharti. His heart is not functioning normally.
Oh, yeah. My Lord.
When it happened? He was not well since few days. But today morning he got admitted. And then now suddenly deteriorated. So the ICU shift.
Radheshyam gone to hospital? Is there?
He's there in hospital.
Okay. I'll have a word with him. I was not aware of this. His mother, father, they underwent some difficulty some time ago, but they were quite normal. This is the recent one I'm hearing. Yeah. So we'll do short kirtan, 5 minutes. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Govinda Jaya Jaya, Gopala Jaya Jaya, Radharamana, Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya, Jaya Jaya Radhe, Jaya Jaya Shyam, Jaya Jaya, Jaya Jaya Radhe, Jaya Jaya Shyam, Jaya Jaya Shri Vrindavan Dham, Jaya Jagannath Swami, Jaya Jagannath, Gauranga. Govinda Hari Govinda Venkataramana Govinda. Srinivasa Govinda Shri Venkatesa Govinda. पावन हरिनाम संकीर्तन की श्रील प्रभुपाद की समावेत भक्तवृंद की जय गौर।